Yeah, and then we're just going right into videos anyway, so.
Okay, I gotta, let me see. How, okay, there we go. So I can see that, that'll be live.
Yeah, I think actually our talking is live right now too for some reason. Oh no, this is coming through.
Check.
And our mics are off.
Oh, okay.
Want me to bring my mic level down? Can you guys even hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, you can see it too, bro.
Just don't get, I guess it doesn't matter, we'll figure it out. If these mics are off, what mic is that coming through?
It must be mine.
Or my computer? Yes, I gotta mute my Zoom.
yeah, definitely. Right.
But I can't, I just can mute myself. Will
Yeah,
I still
just-
be able to hear myself?
I believe so. Yeah, you'll be able to hear my space. Just mute your I'll do it too.
Hello? Now I don't hear you guys. Yeah. We will be right at noon. We're going live in 15 seconds. It's okay. Check. Yeah. Yeah. yet, but there's a delay. Yeah. A little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not hearing any audio.
You're
It's on there, unfortunately. Can you try a different sound source, like maybe? Yeah, yeah. Yes. I've seen. Yeah, that's good. Stream video. But us, yes.
Good, Ray.
No, I know that song. My grandma used to sing it to me before I went to sleep. So anyway, you got Ray going on your splatter and your fiction. What's the fiction?
It's like magical realism.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. You know, because
Magical realism or maybe mundane sorcery, one or the other.
oh well, you know that's just.
Tell me in the chat.
Well, we don't want to give too much away
Yeah, I mean,
because there's a really big twist that people don't see coming at them, and it just blindsides them.
Like Chubby Checker. All
Like
right.
Chubby Checker down Blueberry Hill. Boosh.
All right. Well, I got something in from Ray. You guys want to listen to a little bit? Let's listen to Ray.
70-30.
70-30. Now Ray he said he wrote it right on the tape. This is 70-40. Total
70-40.
110.
Then we got to listen to it. There it is.
All right.
That's what we were looking for.
Here we go.
The Nightmare Phone, Chapter 2. The Vitamin Bed. It was late, probably 10:45-ish. This was the last thing I heard my partner say as I hurriedly unpacked the packed Amazon heavyweight package in a rush to try to not only get to sleep, but to try this damned recent invention that everyone was talking
video has
about,
been playing, but the
the
audio for the
vitamin
video has
bed.
not been playing. It's a real shame because we're reading a real sweet story. Johnny, you want to fill us in on the sweet stories?
Well,
It was description of the now popular device said, resting low heating controls repair your whole being while you rest.
Okay. You want to start with the jump again? And we'll just do a re-up? Yeah, it's working out.
The new invention was not only trendy,
Rewind.
Well, let me ask you
but
though,
it
did
was
you
also
notice
very pragmatic in a way that you unroll it and sleep on a narrow slab that slowly releases nourishment in a restrained, steady system through your body as you sleep.
No one's gonna believe it's live anymore, but okay.
All right.
Well, you know,
Welcome to the splatter. Run it back. Splatter.
well, we wanted to incorporate as much collaboration and live collaboration, and do that in a temporal pincher sort of way. So it's coming forward and backwards. You
It's
guys
like
seen that movie, right?
It's like a time crab coming at you forward and backwards. Snip, snip,
Snip, snip, snip, snip, snip.
snip, 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 snip.
It's not the easiest. Like I said, it's a feat. It's a cool trick.
All right, we're rolling.
Second try.
Second try, take two.
Want to try again?
Montreal coming to you. Wolf Eyes CKUT. Duct tape and all. Baby!
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You are listening to CKUT Radio Montreal. And also, you can find us on the web
Hey, Moscow. Are you getting that now?
in full streaming video magnificence on Suoni Popolo TV, Suoni TV. My name is Leith Campbell, beaming into you from the beautiful city of Pontiac, Michigan. With Nate Young and John Olson, better known as Wolf Eyes. Tonight we're gonna do some talking, do some jamming, do some stories and do some fiction. Some war stories that might not be true, and then some fictions that sound a little too close to home, and a few other things. Music, sound, and splatter. And so Wolf Eyes through their years have gathered a large nomenclature associated with them, but the one that's most recent and most, I don't know how to put it, opaque, is the notion of splatter. Can you guys enlighten me what splatter is?
Yeah, here it is.
I get it. Right? Oh, I understand how two can be confused, yeah. No.
300 of them overlaid each other. Like
Ray.
crazy overlaid.
Like even
Ray?
intertwined, like tangled
Greens and purples.
Like a whole breeding ball of snakes eating their own tails.
It's like a breeding ball of Tangled absurdism, Ray. Dipped in cheap wine.
Perfect. I know all about
Who
cheap
is
wine. I mean, I know Ray from he's out to me about $100, $5 at a time, but I also know him as the guy that, kind of sounds like a diesel truck on low idle. How'd you guys get tied up with Ray?
Ray's an old friend. Ray's an old friend of ours. And lately we've been writing a lot of fiction, and Ray's been reading that for us.
Fiction? No, Ray is a mercenary if he's nothing, that's for sure.
And
How does the fiction tie in? Is the fiction splatter? We still haven't gotten to the splatter yet.
I think it's one and the
Totally.
same, really. Olson, what do you think?
I think we had splatter written as close as we thought it was. And then Ray kept bugging us because he wanted to use his voice as much as possible. He was trying to
Understandably, he's got that voice. of God.
diesel truck mixed with a junkyard dog growl. And I guess he told us that he was trying to win this world record of someone who talks the most in a day. So
That's
he had someone following him around with a tape recorder and seeing how many words it is, you know, because I guess there's a record.
wow. And last I saw Ray, he was trying to learn French.
Yeah. Yeah.
It sounded like this when he sent us a micro cassette of it.
Sounds good, Ray. Sounds good, Ray.
That doesn't sound French to me.
Sounds
Amazing.
good, Ray.
No, I know that song. My grandma used to sing it to me before I went to sleep. So anyway, you got Ray going on your splatter and your fiction. What's the fiction?
It's like magical realism.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, sort of, because...
Magical realism or maybe mundane sorcery, one or the other.
Oh, well, that's just...
Well, we don't want to give too much away.
Yeah, I mean...
Because there's a really big twist that people don't see coming at them, and it just blindsides them.
Like Chubby Checker. All
Like
right.
Chubby Checker down Blueberry Hill. Boosh.
All right, well, I got something in from Ray. You guys want to listen to a little bit? Let's listen to Ray.
70-30.
70-30. Now, Ray he said he wrote it right on the tape. This is 70-40. Total
70-40.
110.
Then we got to listen to it. There it is.
All right,
That's what we were looking for.
here we go.
The Nightmare Phone, Chapter 2. The Vitamin Bed. It was late, probably 10:45-ish. This was the last thing I heard my partner say as I hurriedly unpacked the packed Amazon heavyweight package in a rush to try to not only get to sleep, but to try this damned recent invention that everyone was talking about, the vitamin bed. The description of the now popular device said, resting low heating controls repair your whole being while you rest. The new invention was not only trendy, but it was also very pragmatic in a way that you unroll it and sleep on a narrow slab that slowly releases nourishments in a restrained, steady system through your body as you sleep. In theory, replacing what you did not get during the day and activating itself radioactively in the times you would notice it least. I finished unrolling the vitamin bed, laid down on the small slab, and went to sleep. reviews of the vitamin bed have always been very descriptive, leaving out an important element. What was talked about in the missing materials and the upstroke to filling holes in all the minerals that your body needed and that the vitamin bed replaces is that there was no talk of the effective brain and the neurological system that was showing signs of being taxed by the intake and steady stream of the plastic vitamins dripping into your bloodstream as you try to sleep. After rereading the manual for the second time in dull boredom, I saw that the VBM4 came complete with 2 warnings. They were rated low to high in terms of worrying day. Warning A. Adjust vibrosonics and the heat level of the vitamin bed to not overwarm the oven that is your body during sleep. As I read this at night, I was looking for the reminder of cracking, the common Vietnam practice, putting a grenade in the sergeant's tent. As I was in the habit to monitor my temperature while I was sleeping normally, during the times before the vitamin bed, I was always a cold body temperature sleeper. So the concept of the body as an oven was not commonplace in my brain. Warning B. Because of the vitamin injections during sleep, the neurological centers will be affected by the IV cerebrospinal spinal fluids that fire sparks into your neurotransmitter synthesis receivers. And an unknown nerve growth has been seen in some cases, which would lead people to a heightened sleeping state. Okay, I thought. That means even if you get caught by the warning B, it's still an improvement over whatever dull life you've had ahead of you, not to mention the vitamins you are not receiving to be stuck in a situation like this already. After forgetting the 2 warnings, it's time to keep a journal of the night's sleep using the vitamin bed. drop my phone in the toilet. Sounds familiar, right? It happens to everyone at least once. If you're anything like me, it's not easy choosing a new phone. And the research can be maddening. I heard Best Buy had good deals, but many of the deals were based on regional marketing. And with deals aside, I had read great reviews about the customer service at one of the Best Buys on Don R in Madison Heights. And this is only about a 15-minute drive for me, so it seems like a good choice. So I drove over there, and the first thing I noticed when I got there was a variety of phones at different prices. I wasn't sure what I was looking for, but after about a half hour of talking with the sales guy, I decided on a cheap smartphone. The salesman told me I could use Bluetooth and it would sync my contacts, messages, and passwords automatically. Oh, sounds easy enough to me, and the price is definitely right.
All right.
We are here. Here we are.
Here we are.
What did we just listen to, guys?
So yeah, we just have been working on this crazy thing. I don't know. It's a website, I guess, and a radio thing.
It's a digital public sculpture
There you go.
dripped in fiction and chaos and splatter.
But that last, that was the fiction that we fed through Campbell's expert
Cut up skills.
cut up skills and device like
Manipulation.
manipulation. Did I say that right?
You got it. Nailed it.
Manipulation.
That's what my tattoo says. Even has the marks.
The
yeah.
marks.
I got one that says Salt Life right above my buttocks. What do you know about that?
Gladly, John. I know nothing about that.
But right. I mean, this is what we're doing
Currently,
currently. Just sort of writing, sculpting,
dreaming,
dreaming,
nightmaring,
nightmare,
Nightmare.
drink pairing,
drink pairing.
faring, getty, wellin.
What made you guys kind of land on fiction, or is it just like a natural outgrowth, or you something you always wanted to hear? You know,
It
it's
was,
like John's. Yours, this particularly has like this old like J.G. Ballard or like Philip K. Dick old sci-fi feel. You know, I was wondering if like that played in at all.
Well, you know, sometimes you look out and you're just not happy with reality. You got a story to tell, and honestly, you just end up sounding like a normie. So season it up, do it up,
Right.
just, you know, make it as entertaining as possible. Whether you got to twist some elbows or mess up some magical realism or just do it your own way, you know, just turn it into a myth, because reality sometimes ain't too cool, especially in these last couple years, you know?
Right.
Wah, wah, wah.
So what? Like maybe you just like started taking a new multivitamin and then like kind of transferred into the whole vitamin bed or something.
Well, you know, if you take, you know, vitamin secret besides glucosamine with MSN to keep them joints loose, which Nate turned me on to many, many years ago, which I
good
never
stuff.
stopped.
Good
Real
stuff.
good stuff. If you take a women's pregnancy multivitamin, it is fantastic. It's so good.
The folic acid. Yeah.
There's a lot of extra stuff in
Yep.
there.
And mix that with a senior one, because, you know, getting up there in the senior status.
I do the 40 and up,
Right.
but Liv got me the 50 and up the other day. I know.
Ooh, chilling.
Either you guys gotten communications from AARP yet? That's when you know you're
The
getting.
newsletter's amazing. Speaking of cut up, it's really good to cut up.
Yeah.
That's good. People who don't think vitamins don't work drive me absolutely bananas. I just got to put that out there. Like my wife Tova.
She don't like them.
No, she thinks they're useless. Whatever.
Well, all right. What's on our agenda here?
That was sponsored by CVS Vitamin
right.
Talk.
Vitamin Talk.
Health Hut.
Health Hut. HH.
So let's go through. That's what we just saw. Let's talk about what's new with you guys right now. One of the big things that's new, this first time that's happened in a few years, is all new web presence for you. And it's not just like basic band website. It's kind of a built to grow community is what I take. What do you? Is that kind of where you guys are going with this?
I think so. You know, we really just wanted to find a place for some of our recordings, some of the collaborations, some of the weirder collaborations we've done, and some of the, I don't know, some of the weirder interactions we've had with people on the internet, and make a place that is for that, as opposed to just, you know, the typical Facebook and Instagram kind of corporate vibes. I mean, not that you can really escape any of that, but we're trying this through Discord, and so far we have people, friends, freakers, tweakers, dropping little audio clips and sometimes larger files. So we've been adding our fiction stories to that.
And some of the audio that was in the underneath the fiction was lifted from the websites, from contributions on the website, right?
Absolutely, and that's what we were kind of interested in doing with this sculpture. You know, I mean, obviously it is just a streaming radio and, you know, web platform, but we want it to be sort of a sculpture, you know, and the community vibe, sure, with our freakers.
Well, there's like 4 things we have an abundance of: good times, an amazing crew, collaboration jams from back
So many,
and more good times and smiles of good times and pictures of people having fun.
That is it.
So we just got a cornucopia of those.
It really is. I mean,
so-
going back through the years, it's like huge smiles and just fun. It's really great to look at.
That's how I want to remember it, right?
Yeah.
So instead of putting out a tape or a CDR or a record or whatever of all these things that we have a cornucopia abundance of, put them on the website. Check them out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a home for our weird activities, you know. And in the last year, a lot of our activities have been real inner, you know, looking at interior worlds, you know, and remembering the good times, you know, without the connection of the gigs, you know, sometimes that's all we have is the memories until they come back, right?
To haunt you.
That's right. I'm not looking too forward to gigs, I tell you the truth, but at the same time, it's all I think about, you know? It's
just because Alex just texted in. He says we already got a question.
Go ahead.
They want to know any tours in Europe anytime soon. The Italians miss you. So.
Aw. We miss the Italians too.
Mamma mia.
But no, I mean, we have a couple gig prospects, but at the same time, it's all seems worth waiting for. In Europe especially, I don't think we're going to see Europe for another year or two.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit before we get over there and see our favorite pizza maker in Rome.
That
and
is
all
true.
our buddies over there.
Yeah. The Del Verme crew. Yeah, it's well, anyways, in the meantime, we're just trying to continue the
Splatter.
the splatter connection, you know.
Right. Well, no, it's a way to not just like with like some crappy Facebook or some other corporate thing. You guys just kind of got your own community thing going on your own site, so you don't need to use some corporation for that. And also the Discord, which seems like a pretty legit format for. I mean, it beats the FaceTube or the Twitter or whatnot.
Yeah.
So
It
or
seems
Insta-dorks.
it seems like I've been saying off-grid social media somehow, but it's not necessarily the case. It's just it looks very bland, and when you go to the site, there's only two things to really talk about and look at.
It's like
kinda nice.
2004
Yeah.
in your grill again,
Yeah.
which is kind of refreshing a little bit.
There's
Yeah.
no ads, no.
Right.
I mean, you still get all the internet drama, right? There's a drama versus drama. But at the same time, I don't know. I feel like it's a fresh place to do these sort of weirdo collaborations, and it be open-ended, like truly open-ended. And no one's making money. No one has any chance of making any money through this. you know?
Zuckerberg can Zuckerberg.
Everyone
He's
can
got nothing to do
Zuckerberg.
As
with
well he
this.
should.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But this all started because we got approached to do a big archive project right before the gig shut Daisy
Yep.
around Halloween last 2 years
2000.
ago.
Yeah, 19.
Yep.
Crazy.
And we got approached by our friend Jonathan from the New York Public Library. He's like, I want to do something with your guys' archive. And we were thinking about it nonstop since then.
Yeah, riffing ideas and.
One of the originals ideas we had was like the Grateful Dead wall, where a cool cat did a wall of just Grateful Dead tapes. And we were like,
Right.
Wolf Wall.
Wolf Wall.
Right.
Which we do want to do still, but we thought that was sort of almost bland in the grander. Like, we could be a lot more creative than just taking our archive, dubbing it, and putting it on a wall.
That's kind of dead.
Right. Yeah.
Ain't talking about John Mayer either.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. We went through a lot of different ideas and started looking at the archive not just as like a discography. Like it's not just. It's a collection of great times and collaboration between friends, and that kind of launched the website in a way too, where we were looking at the bigger splatter picture and what our actual, we were calling it the overview effect, like kind of feeling like, right, it's almost there's something larger going on here that's not even totally about John and I, or Dillaway, Baljo, or Connolly. You can see it in the photo splatter. It's this 2+ decades of these people who continuously meet and hang out and appreciate each other. And that became kind of the focal point for a minute. Us kind of looking at just our friends and our relationships and this network of really
Psychopaths.
interesting psychopaths.
Especially the Michigan scene. I mean, describe that, because it is really tight, and it's like it's everybody's goes to everybody's shows, and whether it's a basement or a concert hall, it's like it's the same devotion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's been like that for 2.5 decades, and sure, it's splintered off, and people get older and stop going to gigs, but then we started to see people reconnecting from these old moments, the splatter moments. Were actually reconnecting us with other people that we hadn't talked to in years, or literally, we're talking 20 years.
For instance, Rock and Roll Jackie.
Rock and Roll Jackie.
Favorite turntablists.
Yeah, totally. From the band Smegma.
Yep.
There's some tracks of Smegma that Jackie sent me that are on our WTRIP audio archive.
That's on WTRIP.org. I don't know if we've said that yet.
I don't know, probably. We're going to say it a bunch. But, yeah. And we really owe that to the library, and us kind of stretching our brain out to look at what we're doing was we've always thought of it as an art project. You know, we're not master musicians. You know, we're
Speak for yourself, bro.
John's in the
You know.
woodshed like 6 hours a day.
Oh man, there's a review that I put on our website from this guy. It's an Amazon review, and he's just like, "This doesn't even at least Pollock resembles art." You know, he's
Yeah,
like, "This
right.
is appalling," and we're like, "Wow," you know, like
Those guys just don't get that. Like that sort of feedback is perfect, right? Like it's
perfect
like,
for us. We're like, "Yeah,
You get
know,
it.
you get it, but you hate, yeah,
Welcome home.
hit me again.
You
There
know.
ya.
Well, I mean, it was, when you think about archive, you don't want to have it be like it's over, Smiles never stop.
Right,
The grill
right.
might change. You might have to put some more money into the teeth. But, the ice grill's still chilly. It's still going on. So, it needs to be seen that it's an organic social thing.
right." I mean, that's what music really is, right? I mean,
Or music.
or music with air quotes, yeah. Music with a question mark too. I mean, people throughout the years have really, really hated on our music. But, and that's sometimes it's a little hard to take, I gotta say. Sometimes, reading those reviews of people who are just like, they need to end this.
Never.
Never. It's
No, that's
It's
a beautiful
interesting.
thing. I mean, it's and there's a long history in music too. Like when Stravinsky's Rite of Spring was played, it was a riot, and they damn near burned down the theater.
Well, I
you know,
heard that
and-
was because they ran out of popcorn and beer.
Oh well, yeah. The French
Yeah.
are big into their popcorn and
It was
beer. I
like
guess.
Die Hard.
Remember when we played was it when we played Finland, they ran out of beer.
Oh jeez.
They started serving apple juice with just whiskey at the bar, and things got worse.
Yeah,
It only got
yeah.
It
worse.
was in Latvia, wasn't it?
That was
Right,
yeah, that's
right.
right.
Yeah.
But it happened in Finland too, but
Instead-
not with the
Instead of popcorn, they started handing out just coffee beans.
right. But yeah,
That's what it sounded like when your body realizes. that
They
you
just
are at-
nailed some apple
Yeah.
juice with whiskey.
Yeah.
That's like double sugar. You got the sugar of the whiskey and the sugar of the apple juice. It's like
it was
I'm
brutal.
getting
Can you
a headache
imagine a
just thinking
Bath
about
and
it.
Body Works where you pay in sugar and body sweat?
No, I've never imagined that. I'll have to work on it.
Well, I want to say so.
So back to
The-
the library too.
Yeah, the library project started off right. We described where it took us, and then through all this connections of looking at our friends and our yada yada yada. What we ended up doing is we decided to look at our instruments, the weirder homemade things that we've played throughout the last 25 years, and document those, but also recreate new ones. And I say recreate because we're just sort of finding new machines that are available now, versus 20 years ago. Things are really a lot different in that regard, where 20 years ago I could go to the thrift store and find, dreams, right? I mean, it was ridiculous. You could find anything. My whole life was based on the thrift store back then.
Right.
And this band.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and we had Radio Shack back then, turning out miles and miles of
Yeah.
cheap electrical junk too.
There you go. So we recreated some instruments and we recorded a record with zero production. Like, I'm talking straight, like the most direct record we've ever recorded. I think it's even more direct sounding than Dread.
Yeah, it's the rawest.
It's the rawest. And you play it, and even we think something sounds wrong. We're like, you put the needle on, and it's just like, what? It sounds a little distant. What? And then that one click pops way out. But
It's-
that's what it sounds like.
It's
These
entering.
instruments.
It's
you know?
entering like Thomas Brinkman, where he was using razor blades to cut the beats on acetates. It sounds like something's wrong, which is
Definitely.
incredible.
Right.
It's
You
the
can't. You can never get to that consciously. You
No.
just got to grab the serendipity when it
Yeah.
comes up. So.
and we were pretty successful with that. I mean, trying to record a record with zero production,
Right,
wasn't
right.
that hard. But
No, it's hard to not
You
fiddle,
know?
right? It's hard to. It's
Absolutely.
really, just like, I can just clean this up a little. I can just.
and actually, like, listen to these like. These strange circuit bent drum machines and what they actually sound like without echo, and Olsen's reeds with
Right.
no, processing alone are just,
Right.
he's sucking on
what-
X-ray, old
What are you
X-rays.
What
over
are you using for a read today?
Today I have Lila's brain scan from 4 years ago. And
you-
ooh, listen to how good it
Let me
sounds.
hear that.
I think her brain's right up to date. The cabbage is
So
dynamite.
I don't want to go into why you got a brain scan. It's your daughter's
Well,
brain.
she's an Olsen.
But how do you end up?
Just nod and move on.
They scan them all.
The day he
They're-
came to rehearsal and said he had Neanderthal, more Neanderthal in his blood. I got my DNA tested.
So hyped.
So hyped. I have like 80%
What's your percentage?
Neanderthal.
I brought a chair with me to break.
80%.
Just a tail Nate.
I was like, I nodded and moved on quickly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
If
If
George the Animal Steel.
if you have more than 80% Neanderthal, I think is the correct.
I think you're saying
correct
that,
way to
right?
say it,
Yeah.
If you have more than 87% Neanderthal, if you go to Subway and show the card, you can get a cinder block sub with nothing on it, just yoga mat bread and a cinder block.
It's
sounds-
And
delicious.
that's lunch.
Yeah.
And some baked lays.
It's
Baked lays for sure. Those are the good ones.
it's good. I mean, the cinder block's roughage, right?
Yeah.
Helps stuff move through. so.
Cinder block roughage was
Yeah.
what we were gonna call the record, but it seemed too hardcore-ish.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And you don't want to encourage kids to go out and start eating cinder blocks without
you want
without the
them-
Neanderthal blood.
I mean, maybe.
you want them to go to the library first and check
Yeah.
out this crazy cat named Peter Ripper.
All right. So that segues into the second aspect of the library project. Well, let me just backpedal a little. So we've been talking about it so confusingly, but basically it's a residency
Almost
at
like
the.
a splatter of information.
It's a splatter of information, but it's a residency at the New York Public Library for the Performing Arts, which is a splatter, kind of mouthful.
It's like sneezing information into a Subway napkin.
And we were so excited when they approached us. We came up with this idea of doing the record and the building of the electronics. And that was separate from what they had initially kind of offered, which was utilize our archive and interact with your own archive. And so, we still are kind of meeting
Right.
both of those points, but the piece that we're making from their archive is by this cat named Peter Van Ripper, and he's from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Passed away like in the 90s, I believe. But yeah, he was a calligrapher and a sound artist. And the library has they bought his archives from his wife, right?
Yeah.
And it's basically a box of cut up baseball bats and loose pieces of paper, photographs, and I guess there's some compositions as well. I think there's a bunch of notebooks, but I have not seen the notebooks, or we have not been able to really get to the library and interact with this archive.
Right. And it's like ask a librarian to hold it up to a Zoom screen so
That's
you can
basically
read it. Yeah.
So that's been really difficult. But as soon as I do get these measurements, Jonathan, if you're listening, I'm going to start cutting those aluminum baseball bats and hanging them from the ceiling.
Right.
But yeah.
So one question
he
that
was-
just came in from somebody on the chat was is when is the New York Public Library record coming out? And it's not coming out for release, right? It's just owned by the library. Will they be streaming it, or will it be available for?
It's a physical. It's like no digital. It's like a beautiful record and a hand screen cover. Me and Nate are probably gonna paint it, and it's amazing. And it's been stagnant. We dropped 30 of them at the beginning of the COVID era, and that's it.
Well,
so they are going to be you are going to be releasing them, or you've already released a few copies, or
we're getting all splattered again.
okay.
So
Achoo.
Achoo. The idea behind releasing a record with the New York Public Library, which is, again, our idea, and they're still wrapping their heads around the whole thing, I think. But we wanted to record a record and have it only available for purchase and checkout at that one location. And that, I mean, to me, it kind of is using the library like it was originally intended to be used, right? You know, and what we had discussed just earlier, how cool it would be if the library stepped in and started paying artists to make music just for that city, you know?
Right.
And sort of...
And just in general, you know, because it's hard to make a living these days as a musician. So, like, kind of put a musician on staff, and the library is the distributor, and it distributes it for free because people are going to take it for free anyway.
I love that idea, and obviously it's a bit of a how do you say marketing nightmare probably for them, because
Right.
you know that puts a lot of responsibility on them to distribute this thing. But at the same time, there's not that many. There's going to be
350 probably.
350
so,
there.
A freaker comes in, you know, they're going to go to the library to check out, you know, John Grisham's The Firm or something. You buy a record.
Right.
Well, yeah. I think they have that at the performance.
So
They better. It's a masterpiece.
So if anybody wants to grip this, they actually have to go to the library.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not
the
being-
point.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
point.
Yep.
And we
Get
will
your
be
biscuit in the door.
we'll be going there to do a performance in an installation at Lincoln Center at the New York Public Library for the Performing Arts, which is
Right.
right across the street from Juilliard. If you don't know where Lincoln Center is, it's, you know. And the record will be for sale there, mainly that night. And we're hoping to move most of them, to tell you the truth.
Right.
We'll probably give away a ton of them too, you know.
So definitely small batch, just limited
Yeah.
release idea, right?
Small
But
batch.
it like, you know, it's like got the classic, it's 180 gram, and it's got a classic feel like a Folkways or something like that. So it feels like a
Oh,
library
awesome,
record.
yeah.
There's no, there's very little information
Very
on
little,
it.
yeah.
It's just pictures of the instrument. There's shirts of the record, you know. So it's raw, all caps.
So another question just came in. Did you think back in the 90s you'd actually be doing an archive at this point? The question
Couldn't even
was,
spell it in the 90s.
I still can't
the
spell
question
it.
is, do you think you'd be doing an archive gallery when you started the band in the 90s? So, yeah,
No.
thinking wasn't like our strong suit in the 90s. I don't.
I mean, truthfully, when we started, it was absolutely an art project, and there was no. I mean, even
But-
the idea of a label was an art project, right?
But
And,
that being
you know.
said, also, you know, I mean, you guys have pretty much recorded and put out everything, so you kind of like been archiving as you go along.
Yeah,
You know, it's
we're
you know,
documenting.
at your 380 or something like that.
Yeah, we're
What's
up
the-
there. Well, we're really bad at archiving, to tell you the truth,
Yeah,
but
horrible.
we're good at pressing record.
Right.
Really good at recording ourselves.
And good at listening to it and being like, wow, this rules.
You hear that?
Yeah. Let's hear it again.
Hear it
Sell
again.
Yeah.
Ship it.
Ship it.
But no, it's a great project, and you know it's going to happen. It's going to be it's going to be dynamite.
Well, I
Dillaway
wanna
might
see
be
it.
with us. Gretchen might be with us. It's going to be cool.
Cool. Awesome. For
Yeah.
the New York show.
For the jump off, the
Right.
JO.
So you're saying you were talking about the how it felt like a Folkways album, the nice thick record and stuff like that. And you're going to be making. You've already made the instruments and you've
Yeah.
already donated them to the library.
That's all part of the residency. When we do get to go there, finally, yeah, we'll play the instruments. We'll talk about them. Then we'll donate them, and we're hoping that people will be able to not check these out, be able to look at them and play them in separate rooms,
Right.
which just doesn't seem like it's so possible yet. They got to bend some rules, but that is the idea that you could go to the library, check out the record, listen to it, and then go into a room and actually see the instruments and play the instruments that
Right.
these compositions were made on. And what's interesting, the drum machines that I use, those songs are still going to be in there until the batteries die within
Right,
the machine,
right.
right? So
And as long as they keep it plugged in, it shouldn't. That
it
shouldn't
should,
happen
yeah,
either. So,
totally.
I mean, it's so interesting because we've gone through such a weird transformation of the music industry that now that we're like coming to this point where it's almost these objects as part of the where it was always forever it was sell the 45s, get them out the
Right.
door, and now we're having to like find these new ways in order to make a unique object that can't just be carbon copied a zillion times on
Well,
the net.
interesting that you brought that up. 45s and weird objects.
Why don't we take a
Interesting.
Look at the
Oh, what do we
clock
have there?
What do we have here?
Oh,
Welcome,
someone knows what time it is.
welcome to QVC with Wolf Eyes.
QVC Shopping Network.
Yeah.
We got to plug our difficult messages box
Hold it
set.
up a little bit. Get it next to your
Can you
face.
see
there you go.
this? Can
Yeah,
you see
push
that?
it in.
Hello. There it is. So this is the clock box. It's part of our difficult messages series, which again ties right into the whole library idea and small batch musical object, yada yada, sculpture. Always end with sculpture. And it's basically 4 7-inches that are limited to 50 each, and a CD, and an original painting on the cover that we have turned into a clock as well, so you always know what time it is.
In case you forget.
No, that's great. I mean, and you guys are always multidisciplinary as it is anyway. You're constantly creating a thousand different ways, so it's good to be able to to knock down those walls in between disciplines. Why can't I be an artist and a musician? Why can't I be why can't I be a writer and a music? It's just when you're just creating, it's just that, and
I feel like it's all the same thing.
right.
I mean, go back to the splatter, and it's like if you just look at it as a spraying of creativity, I don't know, it puts my mind at ease a little bit.
No, and I mean, and you guys, as Alex said a couple of days ago, have had this you have this high percentage of turnover from ideation to actually applying it and nailing it and getting it out
My
there.
Wi-Fi's off. Will you tell me what ideation is?
Okay.
Because I can't Google it real quick.
Funking it up.
Funking it up?
Funking it.
Thunking it.
Yeah. You thunked it up.
You got to think it, and then you got to do it.
There
Idea
it is.
to elation.
See?
See,
Lation.
thanks for the translation to
needed to hear from my
Neanderthal.
partner,
I got a lot of little
I
Neanderthal.
gotta get back to
sure.
single syllable words.
True. It's true.
Thanks.
It's true.
Good.
Good. But yeah. Looking at the whole mess of 2 decades at once makes you kind of realize how you can do pretty much anything. You can write a story about a phone or some vitamins, and
Dream it, do it.
dream it, do it. It really freedom has always been pretty easy to spell. Pretty easy.
Right.
Well, it goes back to the Michigan scene. You're always people like it when you're yourself, and here we are, ionospheres of ourselves. What is it? Ionic.
Yeah, that's it. You said it right.
Ionic.
Yeah, ionic. Yeah.
Ionic.
So, I'm getting a strong.
What do you think? Yeah, we should.
I feel like it's time to jam.
Let's do that. Why don't you guys jam, and I will and I'll play some splatter from the W Trip website, which you can all go visit at WTRIP.org and see this without me curating it, or you can just watch here. We'll throw up some of the photo splatter.
Yeah, so this is some shortwave recordings I made up in Manistee, Michigan this past weekend. You can hear the fire sort of in the background. Let me pitch it up a little. And here I am walking down to the lake.
Crunching.
Is this some, like, what you're receiving? It's like some sort of crazy UP music, or like,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like
right?
this Escanaba noise?
I think it's a radar called CODAR, which is measures.
Kodar, like Conan.
Yeah, totally.
Munison Mangle.
Can you hear the water? No, man. I can't hear no water. It measures wave height and speed on Lake Michigan.
And transmits it into radio? And transmits it into sound?
Yeah, right?
No, I love it. That's great.
I don't know exactly what it's doing. I studied a little bit of shortwave this morning to try to figure out.
Phone it up.
So it was literally a short study.
It was a short study.
Okay, yeah. You might get a C- on it.
I think I got a C-. But
Dude, a C- is a Wolf A+.
still passes.
Yep. It means they just don't want to see you again.
I mean, this is another instance of, yeah, I pressed record. Do I get an A+? No.
You know about that.
Yeah.
You know about that.
They call the lowest scoring doctor that comes out of medical school doctor.
But I just really, we've been really into making these terrariums, which were,
This is what I've heard of the terrarium.
so the terrarium series is part of the difficult messages boxes as well. And we're just trying to make synthetic nature, you know? That's all. And it's a, what Moscow's was like, it's a huge like movement of there's a huge art movement up in Montreal. No, Toronto. There's a research spot, something. He'll have to fill me in again.
Well, tell you what, I'm working on that right now. So let's keep on going. But I'm gonna get the Zoom hooked up and see if we can't get Alex in with us.
So this is Frog Pond, part of the terrarium series that Moscow's did. It's called Kaz Frog Pond. I'm gonna fade that in like a sick DJ.
Sick beats.
Got sick beats.
You hear that? I believe he used an 808 and a guitar. Make himself a sweet frog pond. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just thudding away.
King Kermit up in this.
Yeah, but I've been really into walking in the woods a lot and listening. Like, I think a lot of people right now.
That was the first thing I really noticed living on the east side. You know, over by a bunch of factories. Was the quiet, the insane quiet that came when
Right.
the lockdown first hit. You could actually hear things that you never heard in your environment before.
I mean, I started, I became a recordist overnight.
So what were you doing before? What? Before you deemed yourself a recordist?
Well, I wasn't taking a field recorder around with me everywhere I went, you know, at all.
You use the the Zoom H4 or Zoom H6?
Yeah, that's a Zoom Handy
Oh, just
H2N.
the H2N.
Yeah.
Still a nice piece of equipment.
It's pretty all right. But yeah, the Terrarium series.
Hey, could you jump on the Zoom and let's get
Yeah.
Alex into this discussion.
Where is that little rascal?
Here we got his picture on, ladies and gentlemen. Alex Moskos from
He's unable
CKUT.
to join.
We just need to get his audio going on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. There's a Zoom is not my favorite. It always kicks me off. Wham wham. Here we go. And you gotta let me in.
Oh yeah.
And that, the being let in. I'd like to leave my doors unlocked.
Testing 1, 2.
There he is.
Hey.
Yeah, there he is.
Moskos, did you hear that frog pond?
I did.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Yeah, you incredible frog pond.
Via 808 and Moss guitar.
Moskata.
I think I put a piece of paper in the strings for that one.
Ooh,
Ooh,
Johnny
classic.
Cash, look out.
That's right.
Oh, no, that was the toaster. Sorry, I had that piece of guitar or a piece of paper. I think I played Jessica's synthesizer on the Frog Pond.
Oh, really? I thought that was
Tennis. I can't
Well,
remember.
I did play it.
What were the terrariums that we did?
We did,
frogs.
Car wash,
Tennis,
tennis.
and I did a Pontiac Trail one that was
Yeah.
just sort of. I did a tunnel system as well, which was just kind of eerie dripping sounds, right? Buzzing.
Classic torture chamber, haunted
Yeah.
Edgar Allan Poe sounds.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
The field recording a score. It's a great idea.
Yeah, yeah. What was the? You reminded me when we started doing this that there was a huge Canadian study of this practice, right? Like, can you remind me again?
I mean, acoustic ecology.
There you go. I couldn't remember. That's a big word. Too many syllables.
Yeah.
Too many syllables.
That's a
Simon
that's a
Fraser University.
that's a
Yeah.
girthy one.
Yeah.
One.
Well, who was the main guy in that? Because he was from close by us. I think he was from Sarnia originally.
Hildegard Westerkamp and
Right.
R. Murray Schaefer. who's a
Armory
composer.
Schaefer. Yeah, I think he was from Sarnia, which is like right across the river from where I grew up.
And I was telling Leith last night that not Michigan State. What's it? U of M.
U of M. Yeah, that's the blue
Michigan-
one.
The blue one. The
The
Wolverine
one that's not as good.
They have the world's biggest Canadian studies department. I don't know what they do over there.
Right.
They study Draenolith 24
We were
hours a
trying
day.
we were trying to figure out who needs that much help figuring out Canadians.
Whoa!
Hold on.
Yeah. Rewind.
I don't know what the bell's for.
Are you guys ready for a question from the chat?
Yeah,
please,
please.
please.
Is there going to be another Trip Metal Fest?
Good question.
That's a good one. Is that from you, Moskow's?
Yeah, you asking that?
No, that's from Jimmy Jazz.
Jimmy J.
Oh, JJ, what up?
JJ, what up?
That's a
I'm
good
still
card
thinking
with that.
about Jimmy Jazz. It's like my favorite clothing store. Do you guys know that store at all?
No.
That's bizarre.
In Pontiac.
Well, Rob, you know
Rob Bass.
Rob Bass. He does a lot of like
Ron Bass.
Ron Bass, not
Yeah.
Rob, not to confuse with Rob. Ron
It
Bass.
takes two to make things go
No.
right.
No, not Ron. He does a lot of custom leather jacket paintings, and that's why I first discovered him was at the Jimmy Jazz store, which incredible, almost couture type clothing there. A lot of handmade
it-
stuff.
Detroit or
There,
talking?
yeah, there's one in Madison Heights, I believe, just in the mall. You know, really strange place. Anyways, another Trip Metal Fest. Well, yeah, we probably will. But I mean, that's honestly when we started having the discussion to do another Trip Metal Fest, and it kind of sparked the whole idea with the Discord, and the collaborations, the digital collaborations. Because honestly, remember when Johnny said noise was dead?
Everyone lost.
Everyone lost their minds.
Moskow's was the first person to tell me that it was getting intense at like 7 in the morning.
Well,
Yeah, because you were in Florida at the time.
we were in Miami. Yeah, that was an interview for the Miami Herald. Anyways, that kind of sparked Trip Metal Fest, and that sparked a lot of the weirder, absurd, and sometimes aggressive internet interactions that we just kind of had to roll with, right? Like, God, people get really sensitive. You say one thing like noise is dead, you know, but drop the term trip metal in the same sentence.
Yep. All of a sudden, where that sheet metal dead body hate go?
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye bye. And then you drop psychotic jazz,
Right.
Jimmy Jazz.
It's the old bait and switch. Right?
Yeah.
But
What's the difference between Trip Metal and Psy Jazz?
Yeah.
Huge.
oh, it's huge,
Yeah.
Like-
Huge.
Epic.
Yeah.
It's like
big.
what's the
like,
difference between
what's
opera
the-
and Run DMC?
What's
you
the
know?
difference between living wage and returnables?
Eh. Does state to state, I think. Pretty much.
Tell us if there's going to be another fest.
Oh, well, probably.
The Discord is where that type of.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, you know, we're looking at the whole idea, the best parts of Trip Metal and Trip Metal Fest. Doing that sort of a lot easier. You know? But I don't know, we might do another Trip Metal Fest. But for now, we're just going to exchange, 8 megabyte tracks on our silly chat board and tell jokes.
Yeah.
You know, and that, to me, that's the best Trip Metal Fest there ever will be.
Yep.
You know?
A couple of DJ Earl beats and
Oh.
Sick Beats show and
Right.
Kendraplex and everyone, and we're doing it.
Now, to kind of take that out to a broader perspective, like,
Yeah.
will we be doing, once we start getting rolling again, will we be doing that same sort of thing? Do you think fests like that will continue on? I mean,
Yeah.
we've lost a lot of venues and all of that, and just kind of where you see that sort of, where you see the business.
I mean, we're in Pontiac, Michigan right now, and the Crowfoot is the local rock bar. They do all sorts of electronic music too, but they're doing their shows in the parking lot right now. And anyone who has seen it, it just looks insane.
So there you have it, folks. Trip Metal Fest will be at the Crowfoot.
Well,
In 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks, just show up.
Late
but
Father's Day.
their model for festivals is, I mean, it's small cages more or less, which it looks insane, but there's a garbage can and a small table and room for 10 of your friends. Kind of ideal.
I know.
Right,
What more do you
actually,
need?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple of
Wait, the
$5
picnic table's
Caesar.
in a cage?
It's pretty much a cage with a small table and a trash can, but not even a real trash can. It's just like a hefty bag draped against the fence.
So it's a,
not
it's
like a
ca-
kennel, all right? It's just fences. So
Wait.
maybe
No,
cage is a little.
it looks a little like a kennel.
So you're telling me that Carolina Rainbow has been playing at the Crowfoot for every week?
Wait,
A cage,
what?
a garbage can.
There is some black light. I don't know. Carolina Rainbow.
So anyway, you see positive things. You see, we're not going to need
I don't know.
too much of a translation.
Don't have Shaquille O'Neal in
out
a
of
genie
the,
bottle to tell us how.
No,
Again,
man.
I'm really looking forward to doing
every,
shows.
Every morning I wake up and ask for Shaquille O'Neal in a genie bottle.
But it's scary.
Right, it is scary.
It's still a little scary. I have a little anxiety
Right.
about it too, but
Has have anybody promoters reaching out yet, or is it still?
couple.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's going to be a big uptick in localized, scenes and us just hanging out with our friends. I don't think Wolf Eyes is on the short list to be booked anywhere.
The offers we got have been in that type font that's just symbols.
Yeah,
Right.
so I'm not
so
sure.
I don't know if that's like the post-Rona way to communicate.
No, that was
for
just
gigs.
that's just Tangled Ray. That's how he types.
Oh, that
Ah,
guy.
that
Yeah. Well, it's
guy.
about 1:30.
Tangled Ray
He
is
should be
offering
getting
you guys gigs?
Well,
in symbols.
in symbols, symbolically.
in his mom's basement.
I mean, what is a gig symbolically? You
Well,
know?
it's a cage with a table and a trash can.
a Carolina gig.
Carolina.
Little black light. Black light's all right.
It's what was it? It's not CBGBs. It's a tape player.
GBGBs.
GBGBs.
BCGBs.
Nice. BC Neanderthal. Now we're
Yeah.
back there again.
Yeah.
Back there again.
Going back to
Any
the-
questions, Moscows?
Going back, for
Please.
Yeah.
going back to the Discord, it's not the first time you guys have had an internet space for, the whole crew. I'm thinking of the Hanson American Tapes Yahoo message board, which was super active
Yeah.
and was kind of the meeting place, the first virtual meeting place.
Absolutely. Free of advertisements except for endless dead bodies on cassette tapes.
Yeah. The sheet metal set.
Sheet metal seed. And lots of
Tour announcements
tour announcements, yeah. But photos
where
too.
all the dates are TBD.
Yeah, totally.
It just depends if Finkbeiner and Schoen were booking that day.
No, I miss
Silence.
that. I miss those. The simplicity of just the message board and it.
Right. And that's kind of the simplicity of the Discord that that's coming
Absolutely.
back. Is just,
Yeah.
it looks like a
Yeah,
billboard
the Discord
system.
really does look like an old school message board.
Yeah.
Except you can play 8-bit files as loops. Everyone can post their loops and you can all play them at the same time. It's amazing.
See, I love that.
How do people find the Wolf Eyes Discord?
If you go to our website, WTRIP.org, and scroll past the party line, and it's in between the audio archive and the party line, there'll be a Discord link that's open invite to anyone who wants to come join us over there. It's a small group right now.
Between a rock and a hard place.
no one really knows what to do with it, but we've been trying to continuously post little little sound bites and,
See if I can bring it up here to
You know.
show.
but that's the dream. And it's been working. Like the first piece we played, the fiction, the Vitamin Bed and the Phone Nightmare, those are in the audio archive to play. And those were actually conceived through the website, where Twig submitted some strings, and John and I both read stories. Well, actually, Tangled Ray read the stories.
Little rat.
Little rat.
That's Twig Harper.
Twig Harper, Twango for short.
Here's the website's front page, and if you just scroll down to the bottom,
Yeah, right between.
that's where you
between-
find the Discord
There it
link
is.
right there.
And it's an open invite, and if it's not, just hit us up someplace, and we'll invite you. But it should be open. But that rascal.
I want to ask you guys about building the instruments. I don't know if you may have touched on that already.
Did
If I'm
not.
asking that question.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, and I also want to talk to you guys about fiction. So let's start with the instruments. You guys have been hand building instruments since the beginning. I assume you still are.
Yeah.
Maybe just talk a bit about how that came about, what the process is. I mean, I know Johnny's scrapping PCB tubes and Nate's hacking away at old consumer electronics.
Yeah, I remember. What was the story about how you wanted a soprano sax, but you had to pretty much make your own? I mean, that's how long ago it was.
Yeah, it was. There was Marshall Music had a display of a bunch of overpriced horns, and I had a wild skater cat that would do anything you would dare him to do. I was gonna give him like $20 to run in and grab a soprano and run out, and he bottomed out on it for the last second, didn't do it. So I just wanted it so bad I couldn't get it, so I just went to, there's a hardware store, Ace Hardware, right next there. So I just got PVC and just hacked it up and heated up steak knives for the holes like a recorder, and just kind of got used to that sound. And when I finally got a soprano, I couldn't get the sounds that I wanted out of that, you know. So.
And how old was this? I mean, how long ago was
It's
this?
like 2 weeks ago.
Wow, you've come a long ways.
Yeah.
Like three.
You're a quick study.
3 weeks ago.
Three. He
Yeah.
came over with that weird
Right.
Yep.
You're a quick study for a Neanderthal.
After Mother's Day,
after Mother's Day.
before Father's Day. Yeah.
I mean, we've been digging in the trash since day one. I mean, that's totally true. And that's where all the ideas, everything came from. Wolf Eyes was found in the garbage, you know. The
Thrift stores.
Thrift stores.
Yeah.
And it really does go back to, I have been thinking about that a lot lately, how the thrift store, and I mentioned that earlier, but the thrift store really, it was everything for us in the 90s. It was the clothing we wore, it was the instruments we would play, it was the amplifiers, it was the turntables, it was the records, it was the best things. It defined who we were sometimes. Like, look at this thing I found, like, wow, it's a Space Invaders shirt, but it was intense.
I used to take Friday off of work and meet Nate in Redford at like 9 in the morning, and he had like a 20 thrift store route
Wow.
that was just incredible.
Yeah.
you know.
Livonia still has great thrift stores.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was all about that,
Well,
like
I
discovery.
finally got no reason to go to Livonia now. That's like my first one.
They got a good Chick-fil-A there.
Oh. Wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Ejected. But that's really where all the early inspiration came from. I mean, gosh, you know, I grew up in a hippie house, but everyone loved, Rolling Stones and Zeppelin. I never heard anything that strange or out there. And, you know, finding like a Martin Denny record in a thrift store and hearing something sort of strange that wasn't guitar, that would send me off the rails, and I would just endlessly try to find something I could get my hands into and make it squeal or sound like something else.
Right. And also, this was part of the the community first starting out, right? I mean, it wasn't
Yeah.
just you guys. There was a
Yeah, there was
a-
about 4 or 5 of us that were really had stumbled their way into making synthesizer-esque sounds with, consumer electronics. I didn't meet Olson until probably like 99, 2000, 99? No, 98?
97 maybe.
97
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah.
97 maybe. And I had been in a bunch of electronic hack bands before that.
Have you read your Amazon reviews?
There's none for those ones, unfortunately. There might be one for Mini Systems, which was the original, like, craptastic, children's toy and spray foam sculptural, like, group, And still a lot of the ideas from that era of spray foam thrift store keyboards. I mean,
that
that's
was
still here.
and it was weirdly like, it was this thing that like erupted out of the collective unconscious of the world. Because
Yeah.
there's like Toy Death from where they're from,
Yeah.
like Australia. They're doing the same. It's like it was.
Well,
it was just part of the
Reed
gestalt of the
Gonzalez,
age.
right? He was like one of the first that I contacted about. I was like, I'm doing this crazy. I've seen you are doing something very similar with Casio keyboards and whatnot. And I wrote him, and he wasn't super forward with information about it. And it was a kind of a guarded thing, like, because it was absolutely magical,
QR Gazas or that
yeah,
old,
Reed.
old school guy, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember his name exactly. But there was not that many people, and anyone who was doing it kind of stuck together. Yeah, there was an instant community formed. When I went to Europe for the first time, it wasn't really there yet. And I had a MT240, Casio MT240, that I always go on and on about, like, oh, look at this, you connect these patches and it just makes this, instant Schaefer composition, and it's totally true. I mean, there's no way around it. But the first time I went to Europe playing this thing, and people were like, what? Like, hadn't really made it there yet. So I think by like the 99 to 2000, that's when we saw a huge explosion in people playing homemade electronic instruments and circuit bent instruments specifically.
And I've always liked how you've described that as a form of almost a folk music. That it's
Absolutely.
like it's a folk form.
Yeah, and it comes from the thrift stores that come from people's houses. I mean, it's the full package there.
And it's a people like it's a musical genre erupting from its place. It's not it's not piped in from any
Well,
place else.
and it goes back to the whole Scotch tape and splatter, aesthetic. It needs to have something altered somehow to make it your own.
Well, definitely. I mean, when we started, there was no other way, like absolutely no other way.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have trouble. Like, I'm still building instruments. Here's one. I don't know where the.
Yep, you got it.
Here's one. And this is sounds very similar, but it just took me a while to find. 2 circuit bent. So, anyways, this was made by. This was a design made by Peter Blasser, and in the early 2000s and late 90s, he was looking at the circuit bent sounds that were coming out of the weird homemade stuff we were making, and he started to try to design circuits that would do similar things. And honestly, when that happened back then, it was way over my head. Like, building an actual PCB, building a circuit from scratch seemed nearly impossible. I hardly knew how to solder,
Right.
I could, but, I didn't know what I was doing with a potentiometer, except for literally I learned how to use a potentiometer by taking apart an Atari joystick and being like, oh, okay, so that's down and that's up.
Right.
And applied that with bubble gum to a Casio keyboard, and it was like, okay, well, there's the pitch bend. And that was
Right.
that was mind-blowing to me.
Well, absolutely. I mean,
You know.
people are. It's almost like a bravery. You need to jump into something
Yeah.
like that. Once you do it, well, that makes complete sense. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's a system. And
It is a
it's-
system. It's just a
so,
kit. That's what I always
yeah.
said. It's just a kit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like Peter's stuff, and years later, getting into his designs, it's funny. It's a full circle. Like kind of we talked about the library thing and how looking at our older instruments and looking at the current instruments is best looked at from a distance, an overview. You know, there's just again a splatter going on of learning and unlearning Neanderthal and mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The important ones are the mistakes. Definitely.
Well, I mean, it's it's experimental music.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I mean, how many people do you know actually experiment? You know, it's not. You know, you're gonna lose a lot of
Right.
electronics and
Yeah, no, there's constant learning,
good.
unlearning, you know.
Letting the smoke out, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Done it once or twice.
letting the smoke rise.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well,
I wanted to move over to ask you about the fiction. There's been a real, you both seem, I mean, Johnny's always done a lot of writing. I was going to say, I remember the Dead Machine, there's an era where Johnny always started a Dead Machine set off with like a 2-sentence science fiction story.
Yeah. Yep.
That was incredible. But you guys should talk about writing in sci-fi a bit. Because it's not just writing, but you guys, I mean, the whole thing is, since day one, seems like it's been rooted in science fiction to some degree, or horror.
Oh, yeah, or I mean, Johnny
Magical.
introduced me to magical realism
Yeah.
and the altering of something, you know, to make it something else, but still be the original thing is exactly what we're doing with our instruments. So there is no real difference. Again, it's just one big creative splatter and spray. There's, you know what I mean? I really think that the fiction is just it's just part of this. It's no different than composing a song. And I've noticed this lately. Been making these short, like 5-minute. I'm calling them radio shows, but these 5-minute. Other people are like, "This is a show." I'm like, "Yeah." But it's the same thing as composing a song. I mean, you know this. You make radio shows all the time, Alex. You know, and I find the
There's a narrative,
similarities.
that's for sure.
Yeah, there's the narrative. There's the beginning, end, plot. You know,
Well,
drama.
I think we Smegma showed us and would always show us at their house this old jazz musician Lee Rocky, and they would pull out old reel-to-reels of him, and it was experiments with electronics. It was radio shows, fiction, and stuff like that, and it was so inspiring to see, you know, an artist be able to do all this stuff but still maintain a motif around it.
Well, that was how you had. He was rehearsing so he could get jobs, you know, as whatever it may be, you know, with his voice, doing ads. So the reels we were listening to sometimes were just hours of him reading newspapers, you know, just that's it.
Explain to the people, I'm sure a lot know, but I'll probably say a lot also don't know, who Smegma are.
Oh, well, you better ask somebody. Smegma.
Long-running West Coast freak troupe.
Yeah.
Los Angeles Free Music Society crew.
Portland.
Yeah, weirdo underground lurkers from the jump. You know, visual artists, turntablists.
They're us, but older. And that's when we met them, it really felt like life affirming. Like, it's okay to be this. I'm going to end up like that. Yes, take me to that place.
It's
You're
like
on the right path.
It's like a mindset.
Yeah.
You know, Lee Rocky had it, and we were like, well, what was before Lee Rocky? And they were like, I don't know. Lee Rocky was always talking about the Bear Talk string quartets as being the originators of like a cold urban sound, you know. So it's kind of like a mentality or an aesthetic that has always kind of, you know, sunk into the seams of your cultural jacket.
wow.
That hopefully a crew coming up will get up on.
That's
you
like,
know?
like
it's a
it's like
feeling.
a bizarre attribution because like Bartok was like Hungarian folk music or something like that is where he pulled from. And,
Yeah,
like,
but I know those string quartets are like gnarly.
yeah, they are certainly. They are.
There's
definitely
nothing
that.
chill about them,
No.
you know. So, you know,
Too bad we can't cue some of those up.
I mean, the whole Lee Rocky thing kind of opened up a lot of ideas. And
Explain who Lee Rocky is.
Lee
Or what
Rocky was,
It was a drummer for hire in Portland. It was
Yeah.
when you would, I think me and you, Moscow's talked about this, almost like the hockey yearbook. There was a jazz musician book, you know, back in the 30s and the 20s. You would go to a town and they would have the yellow pages of jazz musicians. And to even get your name in the book was a symbol that you were able to hang, you know. You know, Pine Top Smith comes into town looking for a boogie woogie trio, and opens up the pages, and Lee Rocky's the drummer to go to, you know. So it was like an early jazz musician that had to be down with everything, and he was a freaker, artist, you know, a mate, you know, the full thing, you know.
I think you have to be, and that's kind of what we learned is you kind of have to be all those things, including a little electronic engineer. Even if it's just, you know, this much, it's important. It'll really help you in your practice, understand what the hell's going on, or forget what's going on and it'd be okay, you know. You have to be able to write. I mean, this is just, I mean, my girlfriend just graduated from grad school, and she kind of reinforced all these ideas, like, yes, to be an artist now,
To write.
you need to write, you need to be able to talk, you need to be able to stretch a painting, know how to use software, you know, yada yada. Like, you have to be a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a good way to be, considering we're living in an age where people's attention spans are just like, you know,
Zip zero.
zip zero, you know.
And the first piece of advice there is identify where the transformer is and stay on the low voltage side of it.
Or just don't do anything that's powered out for more than 9 volts.
Right. Yeah. Just run it from batteries to start off with.
Or the first thing is don't listen to advice.
Right. Well, no. Listen to that
I
one.
would
You don't
listen
want
to that one.
You don't want to do the jiggle dance.
I used to modify television sets.
Oh yeah. Nice explosive capacitors in the backs of it. Yeah.
Some are on the site. Give the instrument
This
page
is
a
true.
look.
Check
Yeah.
out my TV mods. Pretty
Beautiful.
sick. But yeah, no, I think you. I don't. If I didn't make my own instruments, or, you know, be interested in so much about electronic music, not just the MP3s I have, you know, I don't think I would still be so obsessed with making it, you know. Just having a sweet delay pedal and a tape player used to do it for me, you know, when I first started out. But yeah, learning about
That's a
smegma.
simple rig.
It is a simple rig. Used to be, that's all I, you know, but now it's like my mind's a little more open and interested in every facet of electronic music, electronic instruments, you know.
We got about 10 minutes left. You guys want to
Oh, right.
make some more noise?
Moscowster, we
or-
got a final question before we dip into our surprise finale.
There's a question about the British new wave of science fiction.
Interesting.
Are you guys familiar with that?
No.
I actually couldn't tell you who's in the British sci-fi new wave. Sorry.
I know some British sci-fi people, of course, but I don't know about the new wave of British heavy metal science fiction writers.
Right.
I mean,
I mean,
assume
current
it's the same as the-
oh, in recent memory, or talking about a 60s, 60s, 70s
I mean, I
movement.
think it refers to sci-fi in the 60s and 70s. Is
Right,
usually
right.
Bet you it was dope.
The new wave is considered. So I guess British authors from that period.
Right. I mean, all that stuff was great stuff. So.
Olson, what's the last sci-fi novel you read?
I've actually got a grip of Isaac Asimov's, I forget the name of it, but he did the small little newspaper things you would get, you know, it's kind of like Maximum Rock and Roll is science fiction in the 80s, you know, short stories. I've been digging through those.
Those collections, those old collections are awesome. My dad
Yeah.
had stacks of them.
Yeah, they're great. And then, you know, they
50
got
short
cool
fictions.
ads and stuff, you know,
Yeah.
so that they get to cheap. I've been digging through those, you know, a ton.
The question in the chat specified just now that referring to things like Ballard, of course, and John Brunner.
Don't know JB.
Or
Or-
you should You should check in.
It's good. Check in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
But-
I mean, the last thing I just read was The Stranger, you know, and that was equally as chilling today. Like, you know, me and Nate, and you know, we've been talking about
Camus the Stranger
yeah,
is what
yeah.
you're talking
We've
about?
been
Right.
we've been talking about magical realism. You know, I think nowadays, after just what the world went through, absurdism is equally hits home. You know, the absurdism started at trying to deal with the atrocities of the war and stuff like that, and I think, you know, we're all living through that now with all the deaths, and it's kind of a pragmatic way to view it, and it's equally
Absolutely.
inspiring. You know, it's chilling even now.
Right.
You know?
It's almost like taking ownership of the native absurdity of existence to become an absurd artist, just to like you own it and you can manipulate it.
Yeah, or just realize that it just doesn't make sense that this thing is just, this existence is just
Yeah.
nothing.
But there's some joy in that, and thus
There's
and thus and thus splatter. So
Yeah.
Well, I want to end by premiering Wolf Eyes with Marshall Allen, and I want to just backpedal a little. So in 2019, we spent the whole year traveling the world, collaborating with as many people as we could. I think we did about 50 to 60 when it was said and done, and a lot of those are on the website as well, so check those out. And we, midway through this, actually a week towards the end of this tour and the whole experience, we got contacted to play a set with Marshall Allen, and that was sort of the end of our collaborative tour, you know. Era, yeah. And
it was with the Pyramids.
yeah.
It's a crazy gig.
And I just wanted to play that because it has not been played, and I'm really proud of this recording. It's not the best mix, it's just a board recording, but I do think it hits a lot of the points of the collaborative tour, and with Marshall playing, kind of knocks it way out of my expectations. And yeah.
all right.
Before you get to that, I just want to thank, on behalf of CKUT, Suoni, Popolo, you guys all of you for joining, doing this with us, and Leith, of course, for moderating and doing all the tech.
Absolutely, thanks.
Hey, yeah.
She did an incredible job.
Yeah, she
so thank you, Leith.
Except for at the beginning, but I'm
Hey man,
trying
that's
to
the
make
Scotch
up for
tape.
it.
That's the Scotch
That's
tape.
That's
right.
the Scotch tape.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to take you out. Here we go. Just 2, 3, 4.
How's everyone doing tonight? You all right? All right. Let's turn the lights down a little lower. Kind of dim them. I want to read a poem. A little more. Just for a second while the poem is going. Well, he swallowed the past and left no traces, losing track of where he has been. Well, those days decayed into thoughts that he erased then. But I forget the lies that tied us in. Do I hear you talking backwards? Or is that mirror your twin? Is what you're saying lack words? Or am I just losing my memories again? Well, in a second I'll have nothing left. Oh, in that moment, we could all just drop dead. One a minute more, I'll have even less. Can't you see how we've all been so misled? break of the moment, I had to turn. I looked around. I was burned. Where the things grow old. I sink my teeth into this world. My lips will always be stuck to my head. Thank you so much.